Shabbat Shalom, friends. Welcome to Temple Beth Or. We're happy to welcome Shabbat together, even if it means welcoming Shabbat from our own homes, from screens across our city, and truly screens that join us, and not screens, but people who join us from around the country. On this Shabbat, just a few notes. Our Zoom host is Hillary Lamb, and if you have any questions about how to use Zoom, you can touch the chat box or go to the chat box on your Zoom and just write a message either to everyone or specifically to our Zoom host, Hillary Lamb, TBO Raleigh. Also, we will mute everybody during the service and join together at different times during the service in Zoom rooms where you will be divided up with just a few people so that we can welcome each other and feel the presence of our loving community tonight. And so we turn to our worship service and our opening song, Maya Fe Hayom, on page 10 in the Mishkan Tefillah. You can look in the chat box to get the link and put your Mishkan Tefillah side by side on your computer with our worship service. Maya Fe Hayom, how beautiful the Sabbath day.
Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. 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 Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
And now we turn to page 2 in our prayer books for the kindling of the Sabbath lights and the blessing over the Sabbath wine. And if you have candles and Kiddush nearby, I invite you to light your candles and drink from your Kiddush cup with us in celebration as we welcome Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
Shabbat Shalom. And now we turn in our prayer books to page 5 for the Kiddush, welcoming in the sweetness, the holiness, the Kiddushah of the Sabbath day. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu. B'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh. זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, אותנו קידשת מקומים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון. הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. אמן.
L'chaim. And as we celebrate the sweetness of the Sabbath day, I invite you to go into separate rooms. You will be seamlessly joined into those rooms in just a minute. Welcome those who are in the Shabbat room of Temple Beth or with you, and share with them something sweet from your week. Shabbat Shalom. To your family. It's funny how the Torah has something really new to say this year that we haven't heard in other years, at least haven't heard it quite this way, returning to our families, returning to our holdings, each one of us, proclaiming liberty throughout the land. One of the highest, most fundamental teachings in Judaism is freedom, emancipation. It's the reset button of society. We are commanded every 50 years in the Jubilee year in Jewish tradition to forgive all debts, to return land to its original owner, to divide everything up in the world, or at least in the land of Israel, by tribes in the Bible. Well, it seems that we have a Jubilee year, a reset year upon us now. For most of us, when we think of liberty or release throughout the land, we think about our freedom to be and do what we want, when we want, where we want. And now the world is not so free. We're confined to our spaces, just wishing the world would get back to normal, but knowing that what was normal will likely never be quite normal again. Confinement has taught us many questions. As Professor Eva Illut says, there are billions willingly giving up their fundamental freedom, even though in fact, we still lack some key information about the epidemic that is responsible for the restrictions. For example, we don't know how many people are infected or have been infected. We really don't know the mortality rate of this disease. We have accepted confinement because we believe in the Jewish value and the human value that life comes first. Saving life comes before all commandments in Jewish tradition, except 3. And so we have said we will set aside our freedom to save lives. I start with this quote and frame for our worship this evening so that we can think about freedom throughout our service, the ways that our freedom has been limited, and perhaps the ways unknowingly that our freedom has expanded. And what does it mean? Does it mean freedom from tyranny? Does it mean we can do and say anything and act the way we want, when we want to? I will say this, freedom is what gives us the right to worship, even through a pandemic, to find ways to spiritually lift one another, to celebrate Shabbat. It is our freedom that has brought us to this place together. And so let us celebrate our freedom with Shabbat, proclaiming liberty throughout the land, proclaiming liberty as we take that liberty to worship amidst the time in which we are sheltered. And now we turn in our prayer books to the Hatzi Kaddish as we continue with our worship on page 26.
יתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד ורח ירותי וימלך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמרה במבורך, לעלם ולעלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה ברכו, לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמין רן בעלמא, ויאמרו אמן.
During the rest of our worship, I'll invite you to rise if you would like, or you can rise or sit as is comfortable for you in your specific place of worship this Shabbat. And so as we turn to the Shema and its blessings, beginning on page 28, you may rise if you are able.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
We continue now on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv arabim, בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים, ומשמורותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבי. We continue on page 33.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, and yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Now we continue with the words that unite us in faith. The Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Now we turn in our prayer books to page 36 as we chant together V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And we join together in the words of the V'ahavta in English on the bottom of page 36. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem, Amen. Some of you know, and now more of you will know, that I took a little tumble the other day. It was really no big deal, I kept saying, until I looked at a piece of paper and I could read out of my left eye, but not out of my right eye. So to the emergency room I went to find out, yes, I had a concussion. Well, at the end of my experience with a very efficient and very nice and very clean emergency room and doctor, the doctor who had examined me very closely, of course, you can't do social distancing and look at somebody's eyes and look in somebody's nose and ears and mouth. So at the end of our visit, this doctor, who had washed his hands in front of me when he came in, put on gloves, took off his gloves, and shook my hand. I was in shock. Shock mostly because I know we're not supposed to shake hands. We're not supposed to be in touch with one another. None of the other things that had happened made me think, oh, I'm too close to this doctor. But I was also in shock because it felt really good to shake somebody's hand. And we can't shake people's hands right now outside of those who are in our own household. That freedom has been taken from us. Just the feel of another hand in your hand, knowing the pulse of another is right there. I missed it, and I realized how much I missed it and how long it will take to get back to it when it really is okay to shake people's hands again. And so we mourn some of those freedoms that have been taken away so that we can once again restore health to our world. And I'm going to invite you now to write in the chat box things that you miss while we are sheltering in place, the freedoms that have been taken away. And we'll share those to let go of those and acknowledge them together.
A lot of people missing hugs, visiting a spouse in the VA, more hugs, a lot of hugs. Miss going out to dinner and seeing friends, missing cooking for friends. We miss that at our house too. We miss hosting people in our home. Several people mentioning missing their friends, missing being in person with their friends, missing going to coffee shops, missing the feeling of a touch and hugs, feeling relaxed around people, absolutely. Missing hugs, missing going to the gym, missing your coworkers, missing seeing our parents who we can't visit now. Stan is missing his poker game, missing the beach, working with fellow docents. There's a whole lot of folks missing celebrating graduation and milestones that happen in May. Missing school friends and coworkers, missing our children who we can't see, our grandchildren who we can't see, hugging our grandchildren and not just air hugs, spending time with anyone other than my patients, coworkers in hospital, miss hugging my grandkids. I know they probably miss you a lot too. It's hard not to be able to comfort other friends, missing seeing children, missing games in the art museum and yoga classes, missing kissing.
There's so many things that we miss. It's a long, long list, and I don't ask you to share them in order to make us mourn, but rather to share them so that we can offer comfort to each other, so that we can know that freedom indeed will come, the sea will split, and we will walk through this, however long it takes, saving one another, saving our world, giving up these things that are precious for us for a time, in order to have them back again, we pray, speedily and in our day. So we turn now to page 40 and sing and long for Mi Chamocha, that day in which we will be redeemed.
The only thing that we did wrong was wait in the wilderness too long. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. The only thing that we did right was the day we began to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nidal b'chodesh. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on.
Page 42, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Spread over us, O God, this shelter of peace. This prayer, the Hashkivenu, we say every night, means so much more during this time. Protect us. Give us that sheltering, that covering of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. May the angels ever be on your right side and your left, above you and below you. May they keep you safe from harm, away from all evil. May they stay with you throughout the night, until you see the morning, until you see morning light. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim.
In the peace of the night, this special night, we turn to Shabbat. Shamru b'nei Yisrael. Let us take care of this holy day and protect it and cherish it. Page 44.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם. אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת וינפש שבת שבת וינפש שבת שבת וינפש.
And now we turn to those central prayers of our service, the Tefillah. We'll chant the Tefillah from pages 46 through 52.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei avotenu bimotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaNorah El Elyon Gomel Chasedim Tovim וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי עמוד בימות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכיל חיים בחסד, מחייך הכל ברחמים רבים, צומק נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחייך הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue on page 55 at the very bottom of the page. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things in space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. And page 57, you are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, v'yira na'avod. Page 61. These familiar words at the top of the page have resonated for generations in the Reform movement. And so I invite you to read them aloud in your own space, in your own homes, as I lead us together. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, Bashalom. In page 60, we sing these words.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Kasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Kasim Leolam. Ki atah hu melech Adon, Israel, holy, full sha'ah, Bishlom lecha. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael, Kasim leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael,
Let us pause now as we take a moment for silent prayer, the prayers that come from our hearts, prayers that pour into our hearts when we open them to God.
Yihiu liratzon, im refi, ve'yo libi lefanecha. Yihiu liratzon, im refi, ve'yo libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri be'kovani. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri be'kovani. Yihiu liratzon, im refi, ve'yo libi lefanecha.
Many of us faced last Sunday, Mother's Day, with a great deal of trepidation. It's hard to be far away from your mother on Mother's Day. It's hard not to be able to connect with our parents, with our loved ones, not only on Mother's Day, but really any day. With all the fears that I had, especially for my mother on Mother's Day, it turned out that it was hafu. There was freedom that I didn't know was there. It's like the child's game of hide and seek. When they yell, Ali Ali oxen free, everybody can come back home. You're free now. No one can catch you. That's what it ended up being for me. Freedom where I least expected it. You see, my brothers and I arranged for a Zoom meeting with my 93-year-old mom where we shared dinner together. It's the first time we've ever done that, where all of us were together on a digital platform with my mom. And really, we haven't done it with each other so much either, my brothers and I. After the hour and a half we spent sharing food through the video, we realized that it was my sister-in-law's birthday next week, and we decided we're going to get together again. You see what COVID has taught us? It hasn't been all bad. There have been some blessings, and I imagine that we will continue to meet fairly regularly, maybe once or twice a month or even once a week. So I want you now to go into breakout rooms and to spend some time sharing with each other things that have been blessings that have come out of COVID, out of coming home, things that you didn't expect would happen.
Yet where will I not go to find you, ever present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you, please draw near to me. The moment I reach out to you, I find you reaching in for me. Where might I go to find you? Please draw near to me.
As we seek to draw near to one another through these beautiful conversations that we have shared on this Shabbat, we especially seek to draw near to those who face illness in their lives. These members of our own community, Ann Blakeser, Sue Grimm, Betty Cross, Sharon Davis, Dave Griffith, Anita Lederer, Wendy Newby, Candy Paul, Rudy Pariser, Jackie Schlesinger, John Silverstein, Laura Stein, Bruce Wayne, Alan Weinberg, David Weinstein, and Abel Zollberg. And I invite you to add names to our chat room of those who you are thinking of now as we turn to our prayers of healing. Especially, we also add the names of those who are suffering from the COVID virus, and we ask God's strength for those who stand with them, their family, their medical workers, and all who are working to heal our world. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim, blessed are you, O God, the source of healing.
Oh, see, there's Imaradia, Vayahili, Yeshua. Oh, see, there's Imaradia, Vayahili.
Now we turn in our worship to the Aleinu on page 282 at the bottom of the page through 287.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלוקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 295. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We call to mind the recent deaths of Barbara Levy, Wanda Stein, Molly Small, Judith R. Grossman, Arlene Gervis, Alan Goldman, Barbara Goldman, and Perry Zevin. And we mark the yard site, the anniversary of passing of Grace Alsnauer, Seth Beller, Ethel Blythe, Sylvia Brode, Richard Fastberg, Robert Gervis, Betty Goldenthal, Brian Goldman, Sybil Goldstein Tischler, Milton Good, Judith P. Greenberg, Belle Jacobs, Golda Krasner, Albert Kurz, Mildred Lasky, Philip London, Michelle Mackey, Florence Bedlinski, Herb Pfeffer, Arthur Pomper, Jerome Schall, Samuel B. Schneider, and Lois Srag. And I invite you to write names of your own loved ones who you are remembering so that we may include them in our thoughts as we turn to the Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah ve'alma divrach v'ruteh ve'almich malchuteh v'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayeh d'kol beit Yisrael b'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabah mevorach leolam omeh almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shmei de Kudusha, Brichu, Leila Minko, Birchata, Vishirata, Tush Bechata, Venechemata, Damiran, Be'alma, Vimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimruma, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and all the world. And let us say together, Amen. And we close our service with our closing song, Gesher Sar Me'od. The whole world, all of the world, is but one straight long bridge. Page 339.
כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד.
As we close our service, we ask, oh God, be with us as you have brought us into Shabbat. Be with us now as we come into the Sabbath day. May it fill us with renewal, with rest, and blessing. Amen, and Shabbat Shalom. And we're going to unmute everyone.